Hi, welcome to vlog number 12. So partway through, or two-thirds way through phase 2. So this phase has been about kind of transferring over to front squats and increasing just total training volume, training intensity, and just kind of pushing on a little bit further in terms of training demand. Over the last couple of weeks, I've chatted quite a bit about RPE and velocity, and how that kind of relationship has been different in the front squats and the back squats, and that's been a bit of a challenge. And one of the consequences of that is the data doesn't look like I've progressed because my velocity of training has been too high, and I've not got down to the lower training velocities to make the strength gains that I think I should be making. And I've kind of pondered different reasons for that. And it was remiss of me, really. I kind of forgotten a really good piece of work done by a former colleague of mine at Leeds Beckett, which is Sean McLeod, who did it, some of his doctoral work before he arrived at Beckett on different forms of RPE. When I started thinking about that, it made complete sense what I was experiencing. So hopefully I'm going to share with you my kind of training experiences using the front squat and how that work has helped me make sense of what to do in training, and then how I've kind of accommodated that. So I'll just bring this into slightly larger focus. So Sean's work before Beckett was around differential RPE. So RPE is basically how hard was something, and the different forms of RPE. And I've often used the repetitions in reserve RPE. So how many more repetitions of something could you do at that load? And that would give me an idea. So could I do 2 more repetitions? That might mean it's around about 80%. Well, his work looked at something slightly different, and he quantified it by 3 different ways something could be perceived: breathlessness, lower body exertion, and upper body exertion. And as I thought about that and my experiences in front squat, it made sense as to why I found it hard, yet the velocities were high. And it was this differentiation between lower body exertion and breathlessness. So when I was training the back squats, how hard it was related to low body exertion. My legs were finding it hard to move the weight, and that's why I thought it was hard. And that's what I want. That's the kind of perfect relationship between volume and intensity, or load and intensity. But thinking about my experience in front squats, that's not the case. Actually, what I'm finding is breathlessness. I'm out of breath. I'm gassing out way before my legs get tired, and that could be something really as basic and as simple as the load is now based on my windpipe, on my upper chest, and I'm not breathing as easily. The sets are taking somewhere between 12 and 15 seconds. That's pushing me out of the ATP comfort zone into the anaerobicness, and that's driving up more breathlessness. So that's starting to make more sense. I'm not mechanically fatigued. I'm not kind of finding the RPE based on low body exertion. It's because I'm literally sucking in air for my life, and I'm like out of breath by the end of the set, which wasn't the case with back squats. So that's kind of explained why there's a difference between how hard a session was, or how hard a set was, and how fast I was moving. But that's only part of the picture. It's only part of the puzzle. I still need to be able to train hard, move slowly with heavy weights doing this particular form of training. So how do I kind of unpack that and get forward? So the next thing to look at was going back into the toolbox of an S&C coach, and I used what's called cluster training, or cluster set, sorry. And that's where you have a small break within the middle of a set. And this has been around for donkey's years. If you watch a weightlifter train, they'll have cluster sets because they'll have a 10-15 second rest between every single repetition. And that's not what I'm looking at this particular format, but it's the same idea. So what I thought about was putting a 30-second gap between reps 5 and rep 6. I do 5 repetitions, 30-second rest, and 6 repetitions, and the 6 to 10 repetitions afterwards. And it's been found to be really, really effective, and there's loads of really good research out there. And those who are interested, let me know, and I'll kind of point you in that direction. But I'll just show you the difference between what an output looked like for me in the traditional, trying to do 10 reps continuously, and then 10 reps with a break in the middle of the set. So this would have been on the left hand side Monday session, on the right hand side is today's session, which is Wednesday. So on Monday it was 85 kilos, 10 reps. It wasn't intentionally done with a cluster, but basically reps 8, 9, and 10. I had to have a couple of seconds between each rep because I was just, like I say, sucking in big gulps of air and just trying to get my breath back. And on the right hand side, I did 90 kilos, so I moved up in weight and had a 30-second rest after repetition number 5. So there's a couple of things down at the bottom which summarise it, but basically you can see there that on the left hand side, I start off much faster, so around about 0.65 meters per second, whereas at 90 kilos I'm starting at 0.55, so that's better already. I'm moving in that kind of direction of the velocities I want to get to. On the left hand side, the slowest repetition is around about 0.48 meters per second, whereas today it was like 0.42. So again, I'm not kind of in the 0.2s, 0.3s, but I've gone in the right direction. But the biggest difference I can tell you here is at the bottom. So I've dropped to 0.07 meters per second average velocity. But my RPE for my lower body exertion has gone up and my breathlessness has come down. So I'm moving slower. My legs feel more challenged and more stressed, but I'm not as out of breath. And the difference for that is I'm not kind of getting into that kind of red line zone of like I'm absolutely gassed and then trying to get the last 2-3 repetitions done. I was able to recover my breathlessness after 5 repetitions or not even get into that massive deficit that I was. Have a break and then complete the next 5. You can see repetitions 6 and 7 had a bit of a peak. Again, the velocities came back up again and then tailed off. So I'm not seeing the decline either that I saw in the other set. So it's more of a mean velocity, which is a true representation of the whole set. So cluster training was something that I wanted to throw in much later in the program, but it turns out for me doing front squats, it's a really good solution. So hopefully in the next 2 to 3 weeks, I can throw in a few more cluster sets on the front squats. At the work sets, that is, I don't think it's needed in my workup sets. I'm not hitting breathlessness, easy for me to say. In the workup sets, it's only the hard work sets. So today I did 10 reps at 70 kilos, fine, didn't need to have a break. But at 90, yep, definitely did. So hopefully in the next couple of weeks, I can start to get those front squat weights up and the velocities down, and then start to see a much clearer transfer into my predicted 1RMs for back squat. So yeah, some problem solving going on this week using some of that physiology, some of the biomechanics data that I'm aware of as a long-standing S&C coach to be able to solve some problems and hopefully find a really good training solution on the back of that.